Jimmy Lakey in the morning makes me feel alive. Woke me up this morning, now I'm up and on my way. Oh, 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 yeah, what a great way to start your day, the Lakey way.
All right, it is a great way to start your day, the Lakey way. There's the drum. I like that final drum hit. Hey, good morning, everybody. Nice to have you here. I am, if you didn't know, live from Africa, the beautiful country of Rwanda. I'm near the city center of Kigali, Rwanda. Not sure if you can see that building behind me. That's the building that everybody who comes to Rwanda, comes to Kigali, says, "Oh, what is that? Is that Hotel Rwanda?" Yes, that's called Hotel Mikoline, right there. If you've ever seen the movie, that's where it all transpired. Right behind me. I thought about trying to do the show from over there today, but we didn't get over there in time, so we're not there, but it's right there. So that's where you're at. You're in the middle of history. So if you can imagine all of the depictions of what happened in and around that hotel during the genocide, that's right there. There's a horrific scene in that movie that I do recall, that when they were driving and they hit bumps and they realized they were driving over bodies. And I hate driving the streets right around here because these are streets that I'm always on. So and that's probably where that happened. Anyway, Mikoline right behind us. Good to have all of you here. If you don't know why I'm here, live from Rwanda today, tomorrow, early this week, Friday evening, I'll begin the journey home Friday evening here, Friday morning your time, and back in America. But we're here because I'm a charity. You see it on my hat. Rivers Promise, Rivers Promise, Rivers Promise. Always talk about it. Yesterday we went and saw some of the kids out at our Legacy Christian Academy. I will update you on all that here in just a moment, but let's dive into a couple of news stories out there. Anybody figured out the disconnect and or the lack of reconciliation? I haven't reconciled the statements yet between what Tulsi Gabbard has said about whether Iran has a nuclear, is progressing with a nuclear weapon versus what we're hearing that Iran is just days, weeks away from a nuclear weapon. Yesterday, President Trump was asked about the lack of reconciliation between what the Director of National Intelligence said versus what everyone else is saying. And he says, don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. We're all on the same page and it's not good. So is there a disconnection, as the screen says, between Tulsi and Trump? There's something that doesn't make sense. I've been away. I wasn't aware of the testimony that Tulsi Gabbard made in the past. I wasn't even aware of that. But our friend Roger actually pointed it out, sent producer Chad and I a link during the week earlier, and then it's now become a news story that there seems to be a little disconnection between Tulsi and Trump. If any of you can explain it, feel free to jump in here. I don't understand it because that is one of the fears. I'm watching the international news feeds talking about the war between Israel and Iran, and I'm watching the international news feeds, and as they report all day today on CNN International, every time I look, it says Trump is warming up to the idea of the United States getting involved. So I have a question for you. Do you think the United States should get involved? At what level would we need to get involved? As they tell the news stories on all the international news feeds that are in my hotel, and when I get to see them, it's Al Jazeera, it's BBC, it's one of the French stations, it's a CNN International, and it's interesting. They say that the Trump team is highly divided in here because you have some of the old school Republicans that are much more hawkish, and then you have the America First people that say getting involved in an entanglement like that is not our business, and the more isolationist wing. So let me know where you fall and give me a let me know what your thought on this. Should the United States get involved or not? If you were advising President Trump, I'm perfectly fine. Let Israel do the dirty work that they have to do. It's a very provocative and dangerous situation, but it's fascinating to watch. But I still haven't reconciled the difference, because that was one of the things that some people say is this is that weapons of mass destruction. We got to go after the weapons of mass destruction, and then the weapons aren't there. And I'm like, they got to be there. Everyone says they're there, but then you go back to the intelligence testimony that Tulsi Gabbard gave and said, no, they ended this program a long time ago. So I don't know. It's really fascinating to listen to different people supposedly look at the same facts and have a different interpretation about how far along Iran is in their nuclear program. So give me your thoughts. This is your chance. I don't No, I was reading also from some atomic energy specialists that they are fine. They have enough energy to have atomic energy and to run their power however that works. I'm not a scientist. It's the refining. It's the upgrading of what they're trying to do that has no business. It has no business being updated or whatever the word is. So they're trying to amplify that uranium to a point that you don't need for your local power grid. And that is what I've heard several say. Listen to the BBC experts say that if they wanted to just run nuclear energy, they have that capability already, and they don't need to keep doing what they're doing. What they're doing is pointing towards a weapons program. So it's fascinating to hear. Tulsi says that they were they had stopped that program back in 2001. They asked President Trump about it yesterday. He says, nothing to see here. We're all on the same page. It's all good, but it's really very interesting. There's Roger jumping in. There's a difference between uranium and a weapon. Tulsi talked about the weapon, not the uranium. Correct. She said their weapons program or trying to weaponize the uranium stopped back in 2001, which is incredible that I've never heard that happened in 2001 for the last 20 years. As a matter of fact, this has been a news story for some time. I've pulled up this video. And by the way, weapons grade uranium is different than just running a power plant. And that's what all the people, again, watching Al Jazeera, watching the BBC, watching CNN International say, that they have the capability of running a power plant already. They don't need the weapons grade uranium. So don't know, somewhere between the extremes, the truth is being told. I'm just not sure where the truth is at on this. But since 2001, Tulsi said they kind of stopped that program. That the date itself is kind of an unbelievable date to me. This has been going on. This has been a talking point for the politicians for a long time. This is Hillary Rodham Kankles Clinton in her run for the presidency, wanting to be the president of the United States, wanting to talk like she was a bad mofo and she was going to really keep those Iranians in line. And here's what Hillary Rodham Kankles Clinton said back when she was running for president.
That if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
So there you have it. That was 2008, and according to Tulsi, what Hillary is making no sense is the fact that the weapons program had already stopped 7 years earlier. So what do you believe? Who do you believe? Give me your thoughts. Some of you are making comment on that. Jeff jumps in and says Tulsi is setting up a presidential run and she's tapping the brakes on MAGA. At least she's still easy on the eyes. Well, that's an interesting point. Is she tapping the brakes on MAGA, or is she basically being MAGA? Because a lot of the folks in the MAGA movement don't want any foreign entanglement, very much total isolationist, and say we should not get involved in all. And so Tulsi could be saying, hey, don't get involved in that whole thing because there's nothing to see here. Is there something to see here? I don't know. Arloa jumps in from the great state of Texas. I think that last nuclear site should be taken out for our own protection, but I would really like it if an Israeli pilot flew the bomber. I'm perfectly fine. I cannot think of a reason. Again, I'm not getting all the news sources here, but I'm telling you, I don't see any reason for the U.S. to have active boots on the ground or planes in the sky. I think we're okay as we are. But hey, I don't know. Don't really know. All right, good to have you here. Arloa says, I just got a message from Roger. Said, I will explain explicitly in 10-15 minutes. I'm driving. Everybody get prepared. My face will probably cover it up. But that's the question, is who's telling. Tulsi says they stopped the weapons program in 2001. We're told that they were just weeks away and they had to get rid of these nuclear plants, or this uranium enrichment to weapons grade uranium. And who's telling the truth? Either Tulsi misspoke or Tulsi's. I've watched the context. It seems like she said what she said. And it's fascinating to see that. I don't know. I don't know who to believe. Joseph jumps in and says, happy Wednesday. National survey, Trump job performance approved is 54, disapprove, undecided 2%. The job approval for Trump is still very high. And that's pissing off the media out there and pissing off a whole lot of people. Even with the protesters, I think these protesters, I think they actually help President Trump. I think all these people barking and squawking and balking on the streets actually help President Trump, because you go, okay, I voted for this guy, and that's who voted for the other person. And matter of fact, let's play this. This is a little funny one. It is I think it's, I can't see my screen very well. I think this is the right one. Is that the, yes, this is the right one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the streets of America with the protesters. And I think these protesters actually do help President Trump make his case that he's part of the party of sanity. Watch this a little bit.
You need a gun because you're weak.
Oh, hang on. It's fast forward. Let's back it up there. Back it up there. Thank you. There's the protesters. Yep, looks familiar. Looks right. Sorry for the language.
Piece of shit! Piece of shit!
This is.
Are you proud of yourself?
That's what I'm hearing.
You need a gun because you're weak. You need a board because your voice is small.
Enough is enough!
What is on your hands? What are you fucking doing?
Thumbs up! Thumbs up! Can't stop! I'm gonna go fucking celebrate!
It keeps going. There's his Kamala voters. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Democrat Party of the United States of America on the streets. Linda has spewed her coffee all over, and you're welcome for that. I saw that. I was watching that last evening, and I was laughing profusely. I was laughing because I think that is very funny. All right, there's your question out there, though, and hopefully we'll get some explanations the next couple of days. Jeff says we should assist Israel. This comes in on the Facebook comments, as we are currently doing. We don't need our troops moved out of California yet. Jordan should be a little bit more involved, vigilant, in my opinion. And I don't know. I understand we cannot have you're right, no coffee warning. Evidently, a lot of you have spewed coffee all over your computers watching the soundbite of the American left out there. I understand we cannot have a nuclear Iran. I totally believe that, but I really would like someone to do some reporting and digging into what actually Tulsi says versus what everybody else in the world says. Is she the only one? It's just fascinating to see. And remember back to the weapons of mass destruction? They wheeled Colin Powell out to give a testimony and get Congress involved that we needed to go into Iraq and do something. And that stupidity led us to a 25-year entanglement. And so I'm like the rest of you, very concerned about getting involved in a 25-year entanglement. I didn't vote for that. But if there can be something quick and easy and down and dirty that gets done to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon, I'm okay. But I'd like to know that we're not chasing the next weapons of mass destruction tail that the military industrial or the war hawks out there decide to get us into some kind of a fray. And I just would like to know a little bit more about what Tulsi said. So it's interesting, but all the experts that I'm hearing say Iran already has what they need to produce energy. It's the upgrades and some other stuff is really made for upgrading it to weapons grade uranium, and they don't need to do that. Jeff asks, how's CNN International sounding today? The headline CNN International is sounding, they keep going, I don't know why it is, but they keep going to people, American like scholars or somebody, and every time they have one, they're in London. They're sitting at a desk in London, like at some college or university. And the one lady earlier, when I'd gone up to get some of my gear and get ready to come down and do the program, the show, one lady earlier was talking about how she hopes that Donald Trump's MAGA advisors, again, they're talking about two camps of MAGA, and you have Donald Trump, and he has no clue what he wants to do. He's just a feckless guy, according to these people, and he's warming up to the idea of getting involved. He's hearing, they're saying things like he's seeing that Israel is being tactically smart, and he's like, I want to be a part of that. They're CNN International portraying Donald Trump in their usual biased way, and then they put on these educated broads, I guess, from abroad, and they put them up on the television. And one lady said, I hope Donald Trump really recognizes that if he gets involved, it could leave environmental damage. Israel's bombing the crap out of this place, and yet if the United States, it could cause environmental damage. If the United States gets involved, it says if the United States gets involved, there's probably going to be radiation leaks all over in the Middle East and the Middle East allies, and as if Israel won't cause any of this. But if Donald Trump does it, there's going to be some kind of a radiation leak or something. So CNN International is just as biased, and don't watch it. It's more worthless probably than CNN domestic. And unfortunately, CNN International is what people watch here, and therefore they think they have the truth about what's happening in America. Well, you know what's not happening in America? Me. I'm not there in America live. I've been on the streets, not roaming the streets like a homeless man, but on the streets of Rwanda, trying to do the Lord's work, taking care of some kids. Yesterday, I went out to our school, and I posted this on social media. Go and play it if you haven't seen it. Share it, like it. This is me. I always talk about the food shortage we have at our school, Legacy Christian Academy. Oh, by the way, the news break. Laura Carno's on the show today. Laura Carno's usually on Tuesday. We didn't do the show, so Carno Tuesday is becoming Carno Wednesday. So all of you big Carno fans, alert the media. Carno's coming up here in just a moment. Laura Carno with me, because I'm from Rwanda. She's in the bunker that she lives in the gated community with fine people with their pinkies in the air. That's where Carno will be at, and I'll be here. And Carno Tuesday becomes Carno Wednesday in just about 12 minutes. You don't want to miss it. This was me yesterday on the streets of Rwanda, about to go grocery shopping. What if I told you I spent over $2 million on groceries? We did. We spent over $2 million on groceries. Fortunately, it was Rwandan dollars, not U.S. dollars. We had to get through the last few days of school. We had a food shortage. We had to come up with a little bit of money. And so over $2 million, we bought the rest of the school for this part of the school year. And as we did that, we spent over 2 million Rwandan francs. And that's a big, we took the money in a bag. When I took the American dollars to the Forex and the foreign exchange and we exchanged it, it was in a grocery bag, and we took it in and laid it down, and 2 million in groceries. Somewhere just under $2,000 is what it was. But yeah, we spent the money yesterday, and this is what it looked like. Another view of the streets right now. One of the main streets in downtown Kigali, Hotel Mikoline, or the Hotel Rwanda is behind me. I'm here, and this was me yesterday, about 45 minutes to an hour from where I sit this way, heading out towards Legacy Christian Academy. This was yesterday. Jimmy, Rivers Promise. We're outside about a mile or so from the school, on the streets of an area called Kamoni. You can see the area. And we've talked a lot about food shortages, and we've been really struggling on our food budget. I've been real honest with you about that this year. And we brought some money over with me, and I'm gonna go shopping and buy some food for the kids so they can finish up with some good nutrition. So here we are. I'm getting a lot of looks holding the phone up in the air and filming, but I'll let you see around me. Then we'll go to the market and see if we can buy some good food for the kids. For all of you who support Rivers Promise and help us with our food bill, we appreciate it. Don't forget, $30 feeds a kid 2 meals a day for an entire month. So it's $1 a day feeds a kid. So anytime you can help us out with the food bill, we really appreciate it. It's been a tight year, but God always provides, thanks to people like you. Thanks. Let's go shopping. Walking in the store here. Let's do some shopping. Very small. Showing the video. It's Jonas, field director. Here's some of our food. Bringing it out. Remember, $30 feeds a kid 2 meals a day for an entire month. And this is we help the local economy too. That's kind of cool. These are the business owners back there. Stacks of beans and rice and all sorts of good stuff. Well, there you have it. That was yesterday on the streets feeding the kids. They loaded it up in a truck and delivered it out to the school, and then they deliver fresh eggs and vegetables every day out to the school, and that's part of our feeding program. So that what we took were the dry goods that can be stored, and everything fresh is delivered every morning to our kitchen at the school. So thanks for all of your help. And that's kind of what it looks like. People think of some glamorous world traveler. We're literally shopping in that store. Smelled of it smelled. I don't know. I didn't identify the smell. It smelled like cans or bags of fertilizer. I don't know what it was like, manure type thing. It was just fascinating. I didn't see anything. Looked like beans and rice, but they had everything. They had little grocery store in a village area. There's nicer, bigger grocery stores in the city, but that's where we buy from a lot of our school supplies for food. But thank you. That was yesterday. It's got a breaking news alert a moment ago that evidently the Grand Poobah, or the supreme leader of Iran, has said he will never surrender. That is his response to Donald Trump's call for an unconditional surrender. Again, give me your thoughts here. Trying to figure out. I think this is going to be an interesting 24, 48 hours, because somebody's going to have to give an explanation. Either Tulsi Gabbard needs to explain herself and talk about this, or it just makes no sense. The weapons program, according to Tulsi, under testimony, said that the report says that the weapons program ended to upgrade to weapons grade uranium in 2001. Where's the truth? I don't know, but Tulsi's the only one that I'm hearing say that, and she got the information from somewhere. She has the information, so I'd like to hear her. Jeff out there is on the X feed. He says CNN International is a state-run media now that Al Jazeera. Yeah, it's CNN is just international is pathetic. The feed was, and again, when they started talking about if Donald Trump gets involved, evidently there's going to be a lot of fallout as far as the environment, and some fish may be harmed if the United States get involved. The lady wasn't worried about it with the Iranians and Israel, but she was worried about it if Donald Trump gets involved. It's always Donald Trump's fault, according to abroad from CNN International, broadcasting from London. I'm guessing she's an astute scholar of some sorts, but every lady I've seen there to criticize Donald Trump as an American has been in London, and I guess they get a London guest or say they're in London to give them more international appeal. All right, I got a question for you. I'm in Africa, and I've told you the street behind me. You can see the motorcycles. I never ride those motorcycles. They're kind of sketchy and dangerous. The U.S. Embassy here will not allow their employees or interns or people, American citizens, to ride those motos, but I've ridden them before. Jonas, my field director, he rides the motos. They ride the motos. I'm a little afraid of the motos. They're scary. They're sketchy, but I've been on them. I'm beyond that. That was an early experiences of tourism. Jonas has been a couple of wrecks since I've known him on bikes, and lost a computer once. They're dangerous, but they're very effective, and they're very cheap. You can get around town very, very, very cheaply. And I don't know if you want to. I invite you to come to Rwanda with me. I talk about coming to Rwanda as a visitor, and And you can come to Rwanda as a visitor, but where's your bucket list? That is our question of the day that I want you to respond. Where is your bucket list travel destination? Is it Africa? Is it a safari? Is it I don't know, Bujumbura? I'm just trying to think of any place that maybe you've heard of and said, I've always wanted to go there. I want to go to Bali before I die. I want to go to Australia before I die. You want to go to see the Great Wall. Where is your travel bucket list destination? That is your question of the day. So wherever you're at, if you're on the X feed, if you're on the Twitter feed, which is X, I understand that. If you're on the YouTube or the Rumble feed, if you're anywhere out there, what is your travel list destination? Love to hear that from you on the program today. Your travel list destination, a bucket list. Where do you want to go? Now, if any of you say Rwanda, and any of you say Africa, or on a safari, then I'm going to have to ask you the question, why haven't you messaged me or my office, the Rivers Promise office, and we can get you details on traveling to Rwanda with us. You can see the mission work that we do here, Building Legacy Christian Academy, and we can turn you out to into the wilds of the jungle with the really great guides. And matter of fact, yesterday, my friend Willie, who I think will be on the show tomorrow with me, he says, we got to get you to this other area you've never been to. We can drive there. It's 6 hours because of the winding hills and the traffic for 6 hours, or we catch a flight. It's 30 or 45 minutes there, and it's where the actual canopy rainforest is at, and a lot of the monkeys and primates that are on endangered species list are there. It's a lot of celebrities I know that you've seen, and football players that I know have traveled there, and that's how they come to Rwanda. They land here and then trek on out there. But I haven't been to that area. There's places in Rwanda I haven't seen, because when I come here, I am so focused on getting things done. And someday I need to just take some time I finally went over New Year's. I went to Lake Kivu, which is in the Great Lakes region. It's right on the border of Congo. Goma's across the border. Don't go across that border. You don't want to do that. And I stayed at Hotel Serena, which is a 5-star place, and it's a very safe compound. But you just don't want to get too far into that the Democratic Republic of Congo, because you will either get eaten by gorillas with an O or gorillas with a U. Either way, it could be dangerous. But what is your bucket list travel destination? And if you say Africa, I'll be in touch with me and I can get you here. Probably more reasonable than any tour agency can. So your bucket list destination, where is it that you always want to go? I have been to so many places, really. I have not done Asia yet. I haven't done much Asia. But I want to go with someone that knows Asia. And I want to go somewhere that knows Asia. Sherry Cree may be my tour guide when we go there, because she has roots in Japan. And so I may let her be my guide in when I finally venture to the Asian continent. I'm not there yet. I haven't been to Asia. Been to South America, done that, done Australia. I've done New Zealand. I've done so many places. Done, of course, lots of places in Africa. I haven't done Asia yet, but there's still places in Rwanda I still want to go see. I have a confession. I have not taken the time to go see the silverback gorillas, which is what Rwanda is famous for. I have not taken the time. I need to take the time. I need to go do it. I got to get it done, but I haven't gotten it done yet, but I need to do that. So your bucket list item, feel free to let us know where your bucket list travel with them. All right, Roger says there is no daylight between DNI Gabbard and Trump. Her testimony was divided into the weapon half and the uranium enrichment, which is true, but she said the weapon itself, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys correct me, from what I saw, she said that the weapons program had ended back in 2001. And isn't that why Israel's going after them? Not because of their uranium enrichment, because that they say that's for power, but the uranium enrichment is happening. They're trying to get it to weapons grade. So feel free to jump in. Love to get your take on that one. But if there's no uranium enrichment when it comes to weapons grade, then help me understand why the heck Israel's bombing the crap out of them. If this is all just nice for domestic energy production, as Iran claims it is, and they said the weapons program ended in 2001. Anyway, it's really fascinating to watch. And again, I'm not necessarily. Roger says the uranium enrichment is a long pole in the tent and the easiest to monitor. It's what the IAE monitors. It's what the good Hans Blick was monitoring with North Korea. Remember Hans Blick? That's a name hasn't come up in a long time. Hasn't come up in a long time. All right, we'll come back to the question of the day. I've got some more videos from Africa. I've got some video from The View. Listen, the View video, you don't want to see that. Fortunately, the women of The View are not talking very much on the video. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger on The View. I'll play that for you here in just a moment. Shyla jumps in on the question of the day, your bucket list. Greece. Greece is one of those places I'd like to go. And I think that might be a place that if I ever do it, it's going to be on a cruise. I think cruising along those areas, seeing it from the ocean and then going from the sea and then going ashore would be that'd be a bucket list trip. I like that. Greece is a good one. I had not mentioned that, but I have not. I've done Europe. I have not done much. Paris, whatever. Amsterdam, I'm actually curious to do Amsterdam, and I've actually wanted to reroute my trip because I could fly direct to Kigali from Amsterdam. But every time I say I want to go to Amsterdam, people think it's for the marijuana and the prostitutes, and I'm like, no, I just want to see Amsterdam. I think it'd be kind of cool, but I'm afraid to go there because then I would travel and people would spread rumors about why I was there. So I'm not going to Amsterdam. Not that I'm telling you, no, I'm not going to go to Amsterdam. Never been there. I would like to. And the only reason I even think of it is because I can route my flight through there when I come here, and it works out. By the way, behind me, Hotel Mykoline, Hotel Rwanda. If I can't watch that movie anymore. I watched it before I came here, And after seeing that, and there's some Hollywood license in it, and who the heroes are and who are not the heroes. There's a whole bunch of it. But the actual story of that hotel and the genocide is told, and I can't watch it. It's just too heart-wrenching for me. I cannot watch that movie again. Gives me a little stress there. All right, good to have you here. Your bucket list travel. That's the question of the day today. Where is it that you would like to go? And some of you probably just want to be wherever I am at, and I don't blame you. I would want to be where I'm at as well. Yeah. Anyway, I hope something fun happens behind me. Sometimes you get a traffic accident with those motorcycles crashes. Usually, if I walked out there right now, just on my right, that's where they come to sell. The guys come with the street vendors, and they try to sell me all sorts of stuff. They try to sell me maps. They sell me belts. And I bought it all. I've got translation books. I bought it all from these guys. The street vendors are down there, and yeah, that's a busy street. But yeah, Miko leans behind me. This is the lobby of a place called Boomway. Spell that one. It's a spelling test. If you can spell it Boomway without looking it up, you get a prize from producer Chad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in Rwanda. Laura Carno is back in the beautiful state of Colorado, where, by the way, let us know where you're watching. Shiloh, where are you at? All of you people commenting, let us know what cities and states you're listening to. We'd love to have you live on the show with us today. And, of course, a lot of you listen later in the day as the podcast happens. Laura Carno from the highly gated community where everyone drinks liquids with their pinky in the air. That's where Laura Carno lives. Laura, good morning.
Yes. Here's the gated community. Can you see all that back there?
That is. You like live up. There's a moat protecting you right now.
Well, we live in 250 square feet of trailer luxury right now while our house is being built.
Oh yeah, you're in the camper trailer. You're the travel trailer.
Yeah.
How's that going?
I think next time I'll figure out like where my makeup is, and maybe I'll be camera ready for you.
How is surviving 250 square feet with Bill? How's he putting up with you in that close of quarters?
We have been married for 25 years and we actually still like each other. So what's funny about this solution, so our house sold very quickly and we've got this new construction going on. And when we looked at what are our interim options, I proposed this. And he looked at me like I was crazy. I said,
is that Laura's connection or my connection?
Uh-oh, am I out?
You just kind of bumped there. Laura, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So your house sold quickly. We both kind of jittered out there. You're
Okay.
in rural America and you have internet probably worse or the same as mine here in Africa. So here we are both third world.
I have
together.
Brother Elon here.
Oh, well, Brother Elon, help us out, Brother Elon.
I have all the bars. Anyway, so this was my idea to live here. And Bill looked at me like I was crazy because he never thought I would do this. So here we are. It's wonderful being out in the country, wonderful being on a construction site.
So you're living there on the place where they're building your house. Now I know where you live. I don't see any trees. That wind has to just howl at all hours of the day for you.
It's breezy.
It's breezy.
Not today. It's beautiful today, but you see, it is the yellow season. All of the yellow flowers are blooming. It is gorgeous out here. And I have a garden next to this fifth wheel that we moved with great effort. We moved it here to our new abode.
I was going to ask you, because for those who don't know, and we'll get on some news stories here in a second, you were the exquisite tomato lady. And you had greenhouses of tomato. Your house sold quicker. Did you just tear the greenhouses down, uproot the tomatoes? Who's babysitting the tomatoes?
Well, usually I have hundreds of plants, and now I have a couple dozen plants.
Okay. Well, happy tomato season to everybody.
Thank you.
It is. All right, Laura Carno, question of the day, your bucket list travel destination. Where is it? Where do you want to go?
I have two of them. One is the place that is now in Switzerland, but it used to be in Italy, and it's called Locarno, Locarno. And it is allegedly the town of my people. And it was moved, the border was moved during the Treaty of Locarno. And so I want to go there. I don't know I don't know if the stories are correct that that's where my people are from, but that's my bucket list. And my second one, now that you say a Greek cruise, I think we should do a Jimmy Lakey cruise of Jimmy Lakey listeners to all those Greek islands. And I will go.
I think that'd be a fantastic idea. Yeah. The Amalfi Coast, I've heard, is amazing. I've never been. I've seen photos, but that would be a fantastic bucket list item. I like that idea. A Lakey cruise would have all of 3 people there. It would be fantastic. It'd be great. And you and I would be 2 of them.
Okay, perfect.
And then producer Chad would come along, and it would be great. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Arloa's going to stay home. Rogers, yeah, he's not going. But we're going. It's going to be fantastic.
Hi, Arloa.
Arloa says, of course, Laura has a garden. Yeah. Arloa never listens to me unless you're on. Just kidding. Arloa's on every day. All right, let's dive into this thing. What is, give me your thoughts. The media here is all a buzz about Israel versus Iran, and should the United States have a more active role? They're portraying it over here as if the MAGA movement is divided between the old hawk Republicans and the isolationist Republicans. What do you think? Give me your observations. Give me your analysis of what we're watching here as far as the U.S.'s involvement.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could be a little bit of a split. We saw J.D. Vance come out today and reaffirm that he's on the side of the president because he has been known to be a non-interventionist in the past. You mentioned that Tulsi Gabbard said some things that definitely could be taken as her opposition to the president's agenda. Somebody asked him about it yesterday, and he said, I don't care what Tulsi says. And he went on and answered the question. So there could be some rifts, or, keeping it, I think, mostly out of the public eye, if that's what it is. But, I'll tell you what, all of the people who voted for Donald Trump this second time, voted for him in part because there is so much going on around the world that is just a mess. You start with everything that happened in the Biden administration with the abandonment of Afghanistan, and just all of the things that have been significantly worse. October 7th, everything. And this is what we voted for. We voted for peace through strength. We voted for, I don't know if the U.S. is going to get involved directly with, the Moab, the mother of all bombs, to get those underground facilities. But the threat of the strength of the United States, if that is enough to get a surrender from Iran, so be it. And there's lots of videos making their way through social media right now of these girls and women in Iran taking off their hijabs and dancing and saying things like, down with the Ayatollah and yes to freedom. Let's not forget that part. This is a generation of women in Iran who, some of them are old enough to remember freedom, and when they didn't have to cover themselves, and when they could wear what they wanted and do what they wanted and have careers and go to schools. That is not this generation, but they remember. You can only imagine the stories that have been told by the grandmothers to their granddaughters of what freedom was like. Let's not forget those women.
Yeah, it's such a great point to go back to. I didn't know what was going on at the time, because I was young. The Iranian hostage crisis and the fall of the Shah and the exile, all of the stuff that happened there in Iran. And it was a secular society, and it was a beautiful society. You can go look up photos. It was a vacation destination. The beaches were full, and suddenly the radicals took it over and squelched the rights of women. And that's one of the things that's not being talked about. It would be behind the scenes. But I hope that while Israel's bombing the heebie-jeebies out of them, and Donald Trump's deciding whatever Donald Trump's going to do, and he and Tulsi, whatever, I hope, and I'm guessing we do have some actions going on in the clandestine world underground to try to get the people to raise up, because bombing from above is not going to be the solution, end all be all. Even if the supreme leader steps aside, until that whole regime is gone, the people have to step up and take that regime over. I hope we're working on that behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. And you're right. It should be up to the people to take their government back and to create their new government. We don't want to be in the game, I don't think, of regime change where, we or Israel or whomever install somebody. Are they going to be as good as we need them to be, or could they be worse than what they have? So, but I think it's there is higher hope for Iran today than there ever has been.
Anybody should go Google. I should have thought of this, and you brought it up, and I'll try to find it tomorrow. Just images from the 70s before the Shah and the Ayatollahs came in, all that stuff. It's beautiful. I mean, you just never think of Iran as this type of a society, but it really was a society where women were free, men. It's fantastic photos, and to see the oppression they live under, it's very, very sad. And hopefully, bombing from above, whoever's doing it, gives the people some strength and some coordination. And I'm sure there's some clandestine activity happening. But you're right; those women, they have been tortured and abused, literally. For a couple of generations now, and keep that in mind, if you would. Laura, I found somebody else to go on a cruise with us. Oliver, he's posted in the chat room. Oliver says, Laura is hot and smart.
Oliver, stop it. I'm a married woman, but thank you very kindly, because at my age,
yeah,
I need all the compliments I can get.
I was going to he's going to be offering to us spritz you down with the suntan oil on the cruise.
Oh my gosh, that's what we talked about last time, didn't we?
I just wanted to throw that out there. Roger says Tehran was known as the Venice of the Middle East. It really was. People should go look it up. I mean, I think it's lost on this whole generation, and I kind of forgot about it, but it was a beautiful society, beautiful place. And unfortunately, the Ayatollahs have effed that up in a major, major way. Speaking of effing things up in a major, major way, the Democrats in our home state of Colorado, we know we have people all over the country that watch the show, listen to the show, but Colorado's interesting because when I moved here, it was kind of a red, leaned to purple, but it's a pretty moderate type place. It's been taken over by crazies. Jared Polis is an idiotic governor. We've talked about his stupidity many times, but he's term limited, and there's a group of Democrats lining up to run for governor, and our attorney general, Mr. Weiser, is wanting to be the Democratic nominee, which I think would not be a good choice. But you have some polling data that says a name we may recognize could be that Democrat nominee, at least preliminary. He's doing very well.
Right. Yeah. U.S. Senator Michael Bennet. And your national audience might remember that he ran for president and in fine fashion, got out very, very early, was registering probably as much as you and I would register if we had gotten for president.
I think I could have beat him, and I'm not even a Democrat. That's how bad he was.
Maybe so. So, he's a U.S. senator. He's viewed as easier to work with by other members of Congress is kind of what I hear. That he's been called a mumble yeller. He's got a sort of mumbly tone of voice, and when he yells, it's very interesting. But yeah, his polling numbers are significantly higher than Phil Weiser. So Phil Weiser, the Colorado Attorney General, has been very heavy-handed in let's sue the Trump administration. And so that earned him almost $2 million in donations early on. He was the first one to get in. Bennett now is polling significantly higher. And for those in Colorado who have been in Colorado, it is very clear why. Bennett at least comes across as a nice guy. We've called him Do Nothing Bennett. When you do nothing, you also haven't ticked a lot of people off by doing things they haven't liked. So, but he's in the, like 55% positive range. Phil Weiser is in the 30% positive range when, you think of, how much do you like this person and that sort of thing. So my money at this point would be on Bennett. The question then is, who on the Republican side can beat a guy like Bennett? Most Republican strategists are saying this is still going to be a tough year cycle for governor in Colorado because the independents in this state don't like Donald Trump much. And as long as Donald Trump is president, that's going to be a reflection on whoever our Republican candidate is. And they might be drugged down by whatever Trump is doing, but they also might be pulled up by whatever Trump is doing if independents are liking it at the time. So it's really a crapshoot at this point.
Are there any other big names in the Democrats that are either in or you're hearing about jumping in? Bennett, of course, is you mentioned his mumbly tone. I always thought he was drunk. Honestly, whenever he was out campaigning, I'm like, he's slurring his words really bad. And I'm like, I know that feeling, but believe me. And then I gave him the name Marblemouth Bennett, Marblemouth Michael. But any other names besides Michael want to jump in this thing?
Yeah, the only other name that's out there that well, let me say first that Michael Johnston, Denver Mayor Michael Johnston, his hope going into his mayoral career was that was a stepping stone to governor. He has screwed up Denver so badly. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. The other name out there is Joe Neguse. And I think Joe Neguse would be, and he's a U.S. congressman, and he's been in leadership and, all kinds of things. He's got a bright congressional future ahead of him on the Democrat side. So if he gets in, I think that could be a problem for Bennett. Bennett getting in might be, okay, Neguse is staying out. So we'll see. I think Neguse would be the most troublesome candidate to Bennett in the Democrat primary.
I'm watching kind of Neguse's second congressional district in Colorado, representing the Boulder area primarily, and some of the mountain towns, and even into Fort Collins. So some of your university communities. And Neguse has climbed quickly into leadership. I mean, Nancy Pelosi pulled him right in. And I'm wondering if Neguse stays because, in my estimation, Hakeem Jeffries has been a disaster for the Democrats. He's not a great leader. Pelosi's done. Joe Neguse would be there if come to midterms and a new Congress. Joe Neguse could actually ascend even higher, maybe even become the Dems leader. I mean, that's how high up he is. So maybe he doesn't want to surrender that quite yet. He's got a chance because Hakeem's been awful.
Right. And even being a minority leader in Congress is significant power. And he is a much better ambassador for, I was going to say Democrat values, but mainstream Democrat values, not the far left. Yep. I think he is a better communicator of them than Hakeem Jeffries, who every time I hear him sounds like, talking far left Democrat talking points, as opposed to maybe trying to connect with normal Democrats.
Yeah. Neguse has only been there a couple of terms, and he's already climbed pretty high in leadership. There's people that spend their entire career that never get that far. So if he likes D.C., I would say he's going to end up staying there just to see a couple more terms where his career leads him. But he's got an opening because the people ahead of him were Hakeem Jeffries, and then you got old Nancy, and they're bad crap crazy. So, Joe, I'm not your career advisor, and you're not my congressman, but I'd say in D.C., if I were you, you got a shot to be a big dog. Yeah. All right, Laura, I've got another quick question for you out there. Is Republicans, are you hearing any Republican names bandied around as a gubernatorial candidate? Of course, last time we had the very beautiful and lovely and talented and terrific Heidi Ganahl, and yet Heidi did not win that race. Who's going to jump back in this thing?
Yeah, so the names that are out there already, State Representative Scott Bottoms, State Senator Mark Baisley, Teller County Sheriff Jason Mikesell, Greg Lopez, who we now call him Congressman Greg Lopez because he filled that interim spot between Ken Buck and Lauren Boebert. So those are the names I'm hearing in so far. There are some other names of people that aren't known to us, so they're escaping my brain right now, but those are the kind of most known names right now.
Baisley is in, I know. I think he's been on the program. Greg Lopez is in. He's been on the program as well. And I believe Scott Bottoms is in as well. So you do have
Scott Bottoms. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you mentioned his name, but he's actually in, not just being talked about. He's actually in. Lopez, Baisley are all in as well. So it's going to be fun. You got to get somebody that could as Donald Trump would say, fight to win, and it's going to be a tough one to win. All right, we got a couple more topics. Laura Carnum, I guess, if you're shocked to go, why is she on Wednesday? Because yesterday I was out at Legacy Christian Academy. Laura, one more quick story. You sent me a link to CBS News Colorado talking about the health insurance exchange. It was all going to save us money if we just jump into the exchanges, and were they telling the truth?
So remember a little book called Government Ruins Nearly Everything?
I know the lady that wrote that. Her name was Laura Carno.
Yeah,
she wrote a book called Government Ruins Nearly Everything. Yes.
Yeah. So it's true every day. So this was the government saying, there were some people that talked about it when the bill passed to do the health insurance exchange, is they were creating a free market in Colorado. Government doesn't create a free market. Free market and capitalism is what happens when government does nothing. They need to leave it alone. So this is the headline you're talking about. They said that it's going to go up again this year. Every year we get this headline that it's going to go up again. I was, until 6 months ago, maybe, in the exchange myself. And so I experienced this over and over and over. And you look at, what are you getting for these price bumps? And I will tell you, as a user, nothing. All that has happened because of the laws in Colorado, they say you can have insurance, but it's going to be expensive because you have to have maternity coverage. Well, what if you're a dude, or what if you don't have a uterus anymore? You still have to pay for this stupid maternity coverage. And that's why they're so expensive. And more insurance companies are saying, this is dumb. We're not doing anything in Colorado. That's why prices keep going up. So I actually exited the exchange, and I have a combination of direct primary care and one of the health share companies that's significantly less expensive and has given me really good coverage together. But government can't fix things like this. They break it every single time.
Imagine that. Laura Carno, it is a pleasure. Next week, I should be back in the beautiful state of Colorado. You will also be in the beautiful state of Colorado. I feel like I want to plant a tree out there behind you. Because I'm afraid you're going to get blown away. You're going to be like the movie Twister. You're going to go flying away somewhere.
Maybe so. Yeah, we'll have we do have a safe place in the construction site to go if there's a twister. So don't worry about that. Okay. And our shop is done. So I have actually an office set up in the shop, an office and a gym and a fridge and a freezer and a wardrobe and a pantry. So nobody worry about me. I'm fine. I might come to you from the shop office next time.
Laura Carno, living like a camper in a camper. There you go. And there's the cat lady as well. How many cats are in the trailer with you?
2. We have one that sleeps all the time, 23 hours a day. This one, and they're both 17, which is 84 in human years. This one is like, goes to the house every day. And she's like, oh, this is my house. This is where I'm going to live. She walks around it, checks everything out. Yeah, she's meowing at me to go out right now to her house.
Does that? She wants to go to the house. Laura Carno, it's a pleasure. Thank you, ma'am, for hopping on. Flexibility. Glad you can join us today. LauraCarno.com. FasterColorado.org is her website. FasterColorado.org is her website. And that is where you make a couple of donations. She's helped keeping school kids safe. And FasterColorado.org, Faster Colorado. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I am in Rwanda. I got a couple more video clips I want to play for you. But live from Rwanda, it's for our charity work, Rivers Promise, riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com. Either way, working today, we're sitting here, somebody asked me, what are you doing today? We didn't go to the school. They're doing national testing and end-of-year exams, and so we didn't want to disturb that. We had to go late yesterday because they had to get through their testing, and we're sitting here just going through our Rivers Promise database and looking at the kids that still need sponsors. And I don't talk a lot about sponsorship. I talk about general dollar amounts. But if you want to really impact a kid's life, you could sponsor a kid directly, $65 a month. And go to our website. We're having a little issue with the website today, but there's some children on there. There's a lot more that are, for some reason, not on the website. We don't know why. We're working on that, a technical glitch right now. But feel free. Go sponsor a kid or multiple kids. We've got people to sponsor several kids. Kids of different ages, and just a lot of different reasons how they choose a child. But go to riverspromise.org site, click the sponsorship tab, and you'll see right today there's a small smattering of children, but there's more children that should be up there very soon. But we'll be working on. And just when I'm reading their bios today with my field director, Jonas, it hits me in the little heart there. Sometimes I get allergies going, God, this kid needs a sponsor. And the crazy thing is through our Rivers Promise Legacy Christian Academy, a lot of these kids, well, none of them paid to go to school. They are all sponsored. They're either sponsored or we pay for them out of our general fund. So help us out. If you'd like us to suggest a kid for you, I can tell you the story of some kids. I'm going to be getting some stories of these kids tomorrow and the next day and try to tell some of those to you. But feel free to consider sponsorship. And sponsors a different kind of person. Some people just want to take my money. I don't want to have to write letters or anything. And you don't have to. But these kids will write you letters. You'll learn about their family. You'll see them grow. They'll send you at least a couple of letters kind of as a pen pal. You're welcome to write them back. It's a fantastic program, and it's $65 a month. Yes, it provides your food. It provides what we call basic life amenities every month. We just keep an eye on what they're needing in life, and we can kind of provide for that as well. It's a fantastic program, $65 a month. And I'm telling you, it will change a kid's life forever. I'm sponsoring, through the years, I've sponsored a lot of, just say I've had a lot of kids. I've got one of my kids in trade school right now. I've got another one that needs to go to trade school that I'm sponsoring. So if you'd like to send a kid to school, $65 a month. We've got some kids at Legacy Christian Academy. Matter of fact, let me take you inside. I think this is our first grade classroom, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been one of our second grade classrooms. But this was them. They were singing a song when I showed up called "We Are Very Happy, We Are Very Happy." And then they break into the Kirwanda. They did it in English, and then they moved to Kirwanda. But here we go. This is yesterday. I filmed this. I'm the man behind the camera. And a lot of these kids that you're about to see, they don't have a sponsor. If you'd like to be a sponsor, you can be a sponsor to one of these kids. Watch it. You get the idea, my friends. I've got more videos of that, but they always welcome you. If you come to Rwanda, that you get to go to school and see those kids, and it's quite amazing. They just sing and they're happy, and they gave speeches yesterday. They have prepared, and it was just fun. It was a great time. They were singing at the beginning. We are very happy. I only got in halfway of the song. I was a little late on my camera, okay, but they were singing, and it's a great thing. So those are the kids you're helping. If you'd like to sponsor a kid, and you say, I don't know which one to choose, we can find you one that we know desperately needs some help. riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com, or just email us, info@JimmyLakey, and I'll get you in touch, and we'll get all hooked up. But we'd love to have some help with sponsorship. We would appreciate that. All right, one more quick thing I want to play for you. I like to play The View. I hate it when shows play The View. I don't like to play The View, but I want to play this one because I sometimes wonder if Fox or some of the talk shows would have any show at all if they didn't play clips of the old hags on The View. Well, this is a clip from The View that doesn't feature the old hags on The View, and therefore I'm okay to play with it. It starts off with old Joyless Behar asking Arnold Schwarzenegger, "You're an immigrant. Aren't you shocked by what Donald Trump's doing to these immigrants? Aren't you horrified by it?" And he pretty much left him speechless. At one point, you'll see one of the hosts try to grab his arm, and he keeps going. And so anytime I can play something at The View and you don't have to hear the old battle axes that are on The View, it's a good day. Watch this, Schwarzenegger on The View. I think it is absolutely fantastic, his response about immigrants into the United States of America. Go.
You're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity. And I think because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do, on July 4th, a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon, where George Washington was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, the existence of America. And I will be doing the speech there. They asked me because I'm an immigrant, and there will be 7,000 some people there, and there will be people that will be sworn in and will become citizens that day.
That's great.
So it's really a great, great celebration. And this is what this is all about, is to celebrate people becoming Americans and coming to America and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest. And you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can. Keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country. So I think the important thing is when you become an immigrant, to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. But you have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Arnold, don't tell if you.
You could hear, you saw at one point they're tapping on the hand like, we want to jump in here. Proud to be an American, but immigrants are stupid if they're illegal and not doing things the right way. That's the beautiful thing. Really, I rarely ever play an excerpt from The View because I know many of you will not eat lunch the rest of the day because it sickens your stomach to have to hear those idiots on The View. But that's what I had to play, where I could actually play 3 minutes of talk on The View, and you didn't have to hear much of anybody. You heard a little bit of Joy Behar. And I know that they, as a matter of fact, I heard the end of the audio. I think they're going to, but Trump, they're trying to get him to go, weren't you repulsed by how ICE is behaving? And Arnold just wasn't having anything, wasn't going to take the bait. And he was going to talk about his immigration experience. So good for Arnold. Arnold. He's getting up there in years, isn't he? All right, ladies and gentlemen, glad to, Roger said he's going to make the bed. What did he do? What did he do with his housekeeper? He says if he's a guest in someone's house, you don't just leave and say, thanks for letting me stay. You make your bed up. You do that. So make the bed up in the morning. Make the bed up. All right. Question of the day. Let's see if we have any more responses on that. Your bucket list travel destination. I think Greece was the one. The Amalfi Coast. I like Laura's idea about a Lakey cruise. I think we could do that. And I think Oliver will be in attendance on that one because Laura's going to be there. And so that's it. We'll have Laura, Oliver, myself. It looks like Oliver in the photo is probably hitched as well, so he can bring his beautiful wife. And yeah, there's 4 people now on our Greek cruise. Isn't that exciting? 4 people. That's going to be exciting. It'll be fine. We'll get you the details of that soon. Sometime. We promise you we will. She's like he's on the television screen. I'm going to run past him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasure and a privilege it has been to be here. And I do want to remind you, again, if you ever do want to get information about our charity, Rivers Promise, feel free to do so. Again, I thought it was just fantastic. That is the Mykoline Hotel. You know it as Hotel Rwanda. If you haven't seen the movie, great introduction. And anytime you watch that movie, again, there's a lot of license in Hollywood about who the heroes are and things like that. But that's the movie. That's where it all happened. And watch it. It wasn't filmed there, but that's where the actual story happened of Hotel Rwanda. And we would look, the windows are growing. Power windows behind me. Is that fancy? Well, they're locking us in here. Must be expecting some rain coming up. All right. It's been a pleasure, my friends. Again, info@riverspromise.org or riverspromise.org. You can send us a donation. If you do that, we'd appreciate it. Anything you give this week, we're still behind on things. We're still trying to catch up on some things. But we appreciate all of you participating with us with your generosity and your giving. The echo just got crazy in here that they closed those windows up. That's nuts. Riverspromise.org, riverspromise.org. We'll meet again tomorrow morning. I will be doing the show again live on from Rwanda tomorrow. I don't know where we'll be doing it from, but I'll be doing it live from here. And then after that, Friday, at about this very time, I will be going to the airport in Kigali, preparing for the long 28-hour ride home. So Roger says I'm going to add Tehran to my bucket list trip when it's free, because it's free. Yeah. Be a good trip. Hey, Ron, got to get some of those Ayatollahs out of there. All right, everybody. Thanks for being a part of the program. If you'd like to be a part of the program in the future, hold the music. I mentioned, hold that song. I want to do this real quick. Don't leave yet. I mentioned Sherry. I want to go to Japan with Sherry Cree. That's my thing. I also want to just remind you again about Sherry Cree, our fantastic realtor extraordinaire. Homeswithsherry.com. Homeswithsherry.com. When you talk to Sherry, ask her about her recent trip to Machu Picchu. She hiked there, and that was a bucket list item for her. She hiked there for took 7-8 days and hiked. Now, it wasn't hiking like, she had a Sherpa and they helped her around, but it was fantastic. I saw some of the photos that she was posting about hiking Machu Picchu, and the area is fantastic. She's well-traveled, and I'm going to have her be my tour guide in Japan, I think is what's going to happen. Listen, I want to remind you, every day, producer Chad and I get together, and we're thankful for all the people that help support the show. We've talked about our old friend Corey Clinton. We've talked about Layman Lewis before, and we talk about Sherry Cree on a regular basis, and we appreciate her support as well. Listen, if you're looking for real estate, looking for a home, maybe you're ready to move to your bucket list item. I mean, you want to get the heck out of where you're at. Maybe you want a second home. Maybe you're just trying to upsize, downsize. Listen, Sherry brings just a unique set of skill set to the real estate industry and the real estate market. She approaches it from a view of not just one transaction, but your entire real estate career, if you will, that you can build generational wealth if you play this thing right. Homeswithsherry.com, homeswithsherry.com. Sherry will also tell you about Rwanda. So you can ask her about Machu Picchu, ask her about coming here to Rwanda with me a couple of years ago with the Rivers Promise Group, and that was a fantastic day. But listen, if you're talking about real estate, talk about a home, maybe you're not even ready to do it yet. You just kind of want to figure out what the market's going to do, and kind of talk about your plans and dreams. And maybe it's a couple of months out, maybe it's a year out, but go ahead and get Sherry on your team. And homeswithsherry.com. Anywhere on the I-25 corridor, if you will, of Colorado, from Fort Collins all the way down to Denver, south of Denver. You need something in Parker, Aurora, Broomfield, Berthoud. You get the idea. That is exactly who you need to call. Homeswithsherry.com. 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 And be sure to mention Jimmy Lakey when you reach out to Sherry Cree. All right, that being said, being on bucket list, I want to get back to the music now. Machu Picchu, that was her bucket list. Never had a desire to go see Machu Picchu, especially hike it. Maybe I should go hike Machu Picchu. Kilimanjaro's here. We could go Kilimanjaro. We could do that. Who's ready to go to the Greek Isles with us? I'll see you tomorrow from Rwanda. God bless you. God bless America. Jimmy Lakey, peace. I'm out of here. See you tomorrow.